BTS news today. The sky over Los Angeles that night was clear. No clouds, no drizzle, just the moonlight softly illuminating the city streets. In the corner of an old building long abandoned in the Arts District, two figures in black jackets slipped out of the side door, heads down, walking against the tide of their own fame. No staff, no managers, no shadow of HYBE's control that night. It was just the two of them, Jimin and Jikook, breathing freely, a rarity in their rule-bound lives. No one knew where they were going that night. Even the bodyguards had been left behind. Their plan wasn't crafted by the company, nor was it part of any official schedule or content production. It was something that couldn't be planned, a sudden yearning to just be human again, to walk through the night streets like two 20-somethings who didn't have to worry about trending hashtags or the Chinese market. Jikook wore a plain black hoodie, his hair loosely tied beneath a cap. Jimin opted for something flashier, a red windbreaker with a gray hoodie partially covering his face. But that night, they weren't trying to hide. They were simply trying to be themselves, not the persona of BTS. They chuckled quietly as they passed graffiti-covered sidewalks, reminiscing about times before the world knew their names. "Crazy how this place hasn't changed," Jikook said, eyeing the wall they had once posed in front of years ago during their first American photo shoot. Jimin nudged his arm. "Remember when we almost got fined for sneaking in here at dawn?" "Of course. You freaked out," Jikook laughed. "I told you it was a movie cop." They walked on, past shuttered coffee shops and rows of parked cars. The streets felt foreign and familiar all at once. Meanwhile, across the city, chaos was brewing. HYBE received word that their two most iconic members had gone off the grid. Calls started flying, chat groups exploded, and Weavers quietly froze. Jikook and Jimin had walked away, without permission, from the path they were supposed to follow. At HYBE headquarters in Seoul, the lights in the management offices stayed on. Someone shouted into a phone, frustrated, "You said they were in the studio." But the truth was, the two stars were sitting on the back steps of a small apartment building, eating instant ramen cups bought from a nearby convenience store. The salty heat hit their tongues with a vividness far more real than anything they'd felt under thousands of cameras. "Ramen tastes better without a script," Jimin said between bites. Jikook nodded. Suddenly, their laughter faded. Jimin stared down the empty road. "We're going to get in serious trouble," he said quietly. "We're used to it," Jikook replied, then turned to his friend. "But isn't this how we should live at least once a year? Free from all of this?" Jimin didn't respond, but his smile was enough. That night, they decided they wouldn't go back until they were ready. And most shockingly, they went live on Instagram. No filter, no theme, no supervision. Tens of millions of phones lit up around the world with the notification. "Jikook is live now," followed by "Park Jimin is joining." They sat on flattened cardboard boxes, ramen in hand, bathed in yellow light from a store sign. No professional lighting, no script. But it was the most honest moment ARMY had witnessed in years. Jimin started the live with a soft smile. "Hi, we're not filming anything. This isn't a promo. We just ran away for a bit." Jikook added, "Don't worry, we're fine. We just wanted to be human tonight. No cameras, no agency, no limits." Comments flooded in. ARMYs held their breath, cried, laughed, confused yet amazed. Many said they missed this raw, free version of BTS. Even some fellow idols quietly liked the stream. Back at HYBE, staff watched the live with pounding hearts. The CEO entered the room with a blank face. But instead of anger, he simply said, "Don't stop it. Let it run." The live lasted an hour and a half. They talked about dreams, exhaustion, and how they barely recognized themselves in the mirror after so many schedules. They laughed about the many personas they had to wear. But the most touching moment came when Jimin looked at Jikook and said, "In all that noise, the only thing that keeps me feeling real is you." Jikook lowered his head, a small smile forming. "And you always remind me who I was before all this started." Soon after, they ended the live. "We'll come back," Jimin said softly. "But not because we're told to. We'll come back because we choose to stay with you." After the live ended, global media exploded. "BTS breaks free. Jimin and Jikook go rogue," headline Billboard. "HYBE at crisis point or on the brink of evolution?" asked Naver. Hashtags like #FreeJikook, #BTS Unfiltered, and hashtag this I love them trended for 48 hours straight. But the biggest shock came from HYBE's official statement 2 days later. Not in anger, but with an industry-shaking acknowledgement. HYBE recognizes that in our efforts to expand BTS globally, we sometimes forget they are human. Jimin and Jungkook's decision to take time for themselves is a reminder to all of us that art cannot be confined by management. We will begin internal evaluations and honor their choices. Armies wept reading the statement. The entertainment world started to shift. Other agencies began following HYBE's lead, offering more space to their artists. Media began to realize that idols aren't just products. Jimin and Jungkook returned to the dorm 2 days later. Not with fear, but with relief. Are we going to get scolded? Jungkook asked, taking off his shoes. Jimin looked at him and laughed. Maybe, but for the first time, I don't care. That day marked the start of a new era in BTS history. An era where they weren't just icons, but individuals brave enough to step outside the lines drawn for them. And the world, rather than scolding, fell in love even deeper, because that night, they weren't just Jimin and Jungkook from BTS. They were Jimin and Jungkook, finally alive. That night, after returning to their dorm quietly, with no staff to greet them in the HYBE LA branch lobby, Jimin and Jungkook exchanged a small glance. No words, just the sound of their footsteps echoing down the hallway to their third-floor room. Inside, a soft lamp glowed. No one else was there. Only an unusual silence, as if the building itself understood this was no ordinary night. Jungkook gently closed the door. Jimin collapsed onto the long couch, shrugging off his hoodie and tossing it into the corner. His breath was heavy, not from physical exhaustion, but from the emotional weight they'd just shed. "Do you realize what we just did might be the biggest turning point of our lives?" he said softly. Jungkook nodded and walked to the small kitchen to grab 2 bottles of cold water. He tossed one to Jimin, who caught it without looking. "We can't go back to who we were before, Hyung," he finally said. "After tonight, everything's changed." Jimin stared at the ceiling for a long time, as if trying to read his own life story. Maybe that's the best thing that's ever happened. Within hours of the live, global media began speculating. Is BTS breaking up? HYBE lost control? Will Jimin and Jungkook go fully solo? Even CNN and BBC covered it, calling it a new form of soft rebellion in the Korean entertainment industry. But what stood out most was the way the public, once clinging to the perfect BTS narrative, began to form deeper empathy. Not just armies, but many younger idols from other groups quietly posted messages to their fans. Some shared Instagram stories quoting the live, as if saying, "Thank you for being brave." 2 days later, a press conference was held in Seoul. Everyone expected sanctions. But what Bang Si-hyuk said shattered all assumptions. Calm yet firm, he stood at the podium and said, "I've been in this industry long enough to know that burnout is the enemy of creativity. When I saw Jimin and Jungkook choose to break free from the system, even for one night, I realized it wasn't defiance. It was a calling. HYBE acknowledges our failure to provide them that space. We apologize to them directly.